I knew something was wrong the second I walked into the server room Monday morning and heard dead silence instead of the usual hum of cooling fans. That room had been my domain for 8 years, the place where I kept the financial heartbeat of Gulf Coast construction materials running smooth as a well-tuned engine. Without those servers, 12,000 construction workers across Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, and Oklahoma don't get their paychecks. And when construction workers don't get paid, they don't just complain. They shut everything down. I'm Bud Hoffman, 54 years old, and I've been running payroll systems here since this company was half its size. Before that, I spent 20 years in the Navy as a chief petty officer, keeping the USS Enterprise's reactor systems running. Same principle applies: when critical infrastructure fails, people get hurt. The difference is now instead of sailors, I'm protecting the livelihoods of crane operators, welders, and concrete crews who build half the oil platforms and refineries along the Gulf Coast. Let me tell you something about construction payroll. It's not like calculating wages for office workers sitting in air-conditioned cubicles pushing papers around. These guys work in 100-degree heat on offshore rigs, handle hazardous materials that could kill you if you breathe wrong, climb 200-foot towers where one mistake sends you to the morgue. They earn every penny through sweat, blood, and risk, and they deserve to get paid correctly and on time. The system I maintain isn't some sleek cloud-based solution that sales brochures promise will solve all your problems. It's a beast built on legacy SQL databases, custom scripts, and 8 years of modifications I've applied with the precision of a nuclear engineer working on reactor control systems. When OSHA changed their reporting requirements last year after that platform explosion in the Gulf, I rebuilt the entire compliance module in 3 days while drinking bourbon and listening to Waylon Jennings at 2 in the morning. When the prevailing wage rates shifted in Louisiana after Hurricane Ida, I updated 847 different job classifications without missing a single payroll cycle. You want to know how complex this gets? Try calculating overtime for a crew that starts work on an offshore platform in Texas waters on Monday, moves to a refinery job in Louisiana on Wednesday, then finishes the week at a pipeline project in Arkansas. Each state has different labor laws, different tax rates, different union rules. Then factor in equipment rental time, hazard pay for working near chemical storage, and federal prevailing wages for government contracts. Each calculation cascades into the next like reactor control rods. One mistake and the whole thing goes critical. But corporate doesn't see it that way. They see an aging system that needs modernizing, and they see me as the old guy standing in the way of progress. That's where Preston Caldwell comes in. Preston is the VP of Operations, and more importantly, he's the chairman's nephew. 3 months ago, Gulf Coast got acquired by Caldwell Holdings, a construction empire that owns everything from cement plants to equipment rental companies spread across the South. Preston showed up with his MBA from some fancy school and his mandate to streamline operations and eliminate redundancies. Translation: fire expensive people and replace them with cheaper solutions. I dealt with Preston a few times before. He's the type who wears Italian suits to construction sites and stays in his air-conditioned Escalade while real workers bust their backs in the Louisiana humidity. Got his degree studying theoretical business cases but never spent a day on a rig. Never had to explain to a single mother why her paycheck bounced because some system crashed. Never had to look a welder in the eye and tell him his kids won't eat this week because corporate screwed up. The morning I walked into that silent server room, I knew the axe was coming. Military training teaches you to read the signs. When the brass starts asking questions about your procedures, when meetings get scheduled without your input, when suddenly everyone's talking about efficiency and modernization. I'd been through base closures before. This felt exactly the same. I spent that Monday running diagnostics, checking every system twice, making sure our Tuesday payroll prep would run smooth. The irony wasn't lost on me. They were planning to fire the guy who kept their most critical system running flawlessly for 8 years. But that's corporate logic for you. If it ain't broke, break it, then blame someone else when everything falls apart. The meeting happened Tuesday afternoon. Preston called me into his office along with Joyce Manning from HR. Joyce has been here almost as long as I have, but she's always been more concerned with protecting the company than protecting employees. She's got that nervous energy of someone who knows bad news is coming but has to deliver it, with a corporate smile and human resources double talk. Preston's office looked like something from a Fortune 500 magazine, glass desk that probably cost more than most of our guys make in a month, leather chairs you could sleep in, and windows overlooking the equipment yard that he probably never actually looked at because he was too busy staring at spreadsheets and PowerPoint presentations. He was tapping on his tablet when I walked in, making me wait while he finished whatever earth-shattering task required his immediate attention. Old power play, make the other guy wait so he knows who's in charge. I sat down in the chair across from his desk, checking my watch out of habit. Old Navy training, Always know the time and your position. In this case, my position was about to become unemployed, and the time was exactly 2:15 p.m. on a Tuesday afternoon that would change everything. Bud, Preston said without looking up from his screen. We're restructuring the IT department, moving to a more agile, cost-effective model. Agile, cost-effective. Corporate buzzwords that translate to we're firing you and replacing you with someone cheaper. I'd heard it all before during the Navy downsizing in the 90s. Different words, same message. I kept my voice level professional. What's that mean for payroll operations? That's the exciting part. Preston finally looked at me with the kind of smile car salesmen practice in mirrors before they tell you about the extended warranty you don't need. I want you to meet my niece, Madison. Fresh MBA from Tulane, summa cum laude, and she's developed a revolutionary approach to payroll management that's going to save us thousands. Here's the thing about family businesses, blood trumps brains every single time. I'd seen it before in other companies, but I thought our operation was too critical for that kind of nonsense. When you're dealing with systems that keep 12,000 families fed and housed, you don't hand the keys to someone just because they share DNA with the boss. But I was wrong, dead wrong. Madison Caldwell walked in like she owned the place, which through family connections, she basically did. 25 years old, maybe 26, wearing a business suit that probably cost more than most welders make in a month, carrying an iPad like it contained the nuclear launch codes. She had that fresh out of business school confidence that comes from never having failed at anything important, never having to explain to a crying wife why the mortgage payment bounced because some system crashed at the worst possible moment. Mr. Hoffman, she said, extending a perfectly manicured hand that had never held anything heavier than a smartphone. I've been reviewing your processes over the past few weeks. Very thorough work, very detailed, but also very outdated. I think we can do much better with modern solutions. The way she said outdated made it sound like I was using stone tablets and counting on my fingers. Like 8 years of keeping this beast running without a single missed payroll was somehow primitive because it didn't involve the latest software trends. Better how? I asked, though I had a sinking feeling I already knew where this was heading. Madison set her iPad on Preston's glass desk and started swiping through screens with the confidence of someone who'd never watched a critical system crash and burn in real time. I've built a comprehensive payroll solution using advanced Excel modeling. It's cloud-based, completely intuitive, and it can handle all the calculations you're currently doing with those legacy SQL databases. I stared at her for a long moment, waiting for the punchline. When it didn't come, I realized she was serious. Excel? You want to run payroll for 12,000 construction workers with a spreadsheet, not just any spreadsheet, Madison said, getting a little defensive. You could see the business school training kicking in. When challenged, double down with technical jargon. This has advanced pivot tables, conditional formatting, automated macros, dynamic lookup functions. It's essentially a database, but user-friendly and accessible to non-technical staff. User-friendly. That's what they always say when they want to replace something that actually works with something that looks prettier on a PowerPoint slide. I've been around long enough to know that user-friendly usually means it works great in a demonstration but falls apart when you try to use it for real work. It's like the difference between a parade ship and a combat vessel. One looks impressive. The other keeps you alive when things get rough. I looked at Preston, hoping to see some sign that he understood how insane this was. You're serious about this? It's innovation, Bud, Preston said, leaning back in his leather chair, like he was announcing the cure for cancer. Madison's model can reduce processing time by 60% and cut our IT overhead significantly. We're talking about real cost savings here. There it was. Cut IT overhead. What they meant was they could fire me and pay Madison a fraction of my salary to run their payroll on a laptop. I'd seen this exact movie before at other companies. Young MBA comes in with promises of efficiency and modernization. Experienced employee gets shown the door, and 6 months later they're begging the old guy to come back and fix the disaster. The only difference was the names and faces. Payroll runs Friday, I said, keeping my voice steady. Today's Tuesday. You planning to switch systems by then? Actually, yes. Madison jumped in. I've been preparing for this transition for weeks. My model is ready for implementation. I started explaining the complexity, hoping maybe one of them would understand what they were dealing with. Prevailing wage calculations for federal contracts, where rates change by county, job classification, and project type. Union differentials that vary based on what kind of work you're doing, how many consecutive days a crew has worked, and whether it's regular time, overtime, or double time. Multi-state tax withholdings where a crew can start the week in Texas territorial waters, move to a refinery job in Louisiana, then finish at a pipeline project in Arkansas. Each state has different labor laws, different tax rates, different union agreements. Then factor in equipment rental time that has to be cross-referenced with GPS tracking data. hazard pay for working near chemical storage or at heights above 30 feet, and federal prevailing wages for government contracts that change based on which agency is funding the project. Madison was nodding along like she was following every word, but I could see her eyes starting to glaze over. She thought she understood because she'd read about payroll management in some textbook or case study, but reading about something and doing it are two completely different animals. It's like the difference between studying naval engineering in a classroom and actually keeping a nuclear reactor running in the middle of a typhoon. I've accounted for all that complexity, she interrupted when I paused to take a breath. My model includes comprehensive lookup tables for all state and federal regulations, automated tax calculation matrices, and built-in error checking protocols. Lookup tables. Comprehensive. The prevailing wage database for Louisiana alone has over 600 different job classifications with different rates depending on which parish you're working in, what type of project it is, and whether it falls under federal, state, or local jurisdiction. The union contracts have overtime rules that would make a tax attorney's head spin. Some guys get time and a half after 8 hours, double time after 12, but only if they're working on certain types of projects. Others get different rates based on the number of consecutive days worked. Then you've got hazard pay that kicks in when working within 500 feet of chemical storage, but the rate changes based on what chemicals and how close you are to them. Madison, I said, trying to keep the condescension out of my voice, have you ever calculated prevailing wages for an offshore platform construction project? I've studied all the relevant regulations, she replied with that textbook confidence. Studying and doing are two very different things. You know what happens when you get prevailing wages wrong on a federal contract? The Department of Labor comes in and audits everything going back 3 years. They can fine us for every single hour that was calculated incorrectly, and they charge interest on top of that. Preston waved his hand dismissively, like I was talking about some minor inconvenience. We'll have compliance reviews built into the process. Madison's model includes comprehensive error checking protocols, error checking in Excel, right? Like conditional formatting was going to catch it when some foreman in Beaumont enters his time wrong, and Madison's lookup formula returns the wrong wage rate for 40 guys working a federal highway project. I've seen what happens when Excel tries to handle real-world complexity. It breaks down faster than a rusted-out pickup truck in a Louisiana thunderstorm. Bud. Joyce finally spoke up, her voice carrying that HR tone that means the decision's already been made and this whole conversation is just corporate theater. We'll need you to provide Madison with all the necessary passwords, documentation, and system access for a smooth transition. Documentation. Most of the critical processes existed in custom scripts I'd written over 8 years. Patches and workarounds built on top of patches and workarounds. The real knowledge wasn't documented anywhere because you can't write down 20 years of military training plus 8 years of learning this beast's every quirk and weakness. It's like trying to document how to keep a 40-year-old diesel engine running. The manual only tells you so much. The rest is in your hands, your ears, your gut feeling when something doesn't sound right. I know that the time clock system in the Houston office has a glitch where it sometimes double stamps entries after 11 p.m. on Wednesdays, but only when network load is high and only if someone's running reports at the same time. I know that the union contract for concrete crews has a meal break clause buried in Section 47B that nobody else remembers. But if you don't account for it, the guys don't get their meal penalty pay, and you'll have Tony Russo breathing down your neck. I know which offshore platforms have cellular dead zones where the electronic time tracking doesn't work, so you have to manually verify those entries against the crew chief's written logs. Madison doesn't know any of that. She's got her pretty spreadsheet with its color-coded cells and fancy formulas, but she's never had to explain to Big Tony Russo why his crane operators are showing up earning less than minimum wage because some calculation went sideways. She's never had to field phone calls at 3 a.m. from platform supervisors reporting that the payroll system crashed right before a storm evacuation. When's my last day? I asked, though I already knew the answer. Friday, Preston said, not even having the decency to look uncomfortable about it after the payroll run. We want to ensure a smooth transition with no disruption to operations. I stood up, my knees popping the way they do when you've been sitting too long in uncomfortable chairs or when you're about to make a decision that will either ruin your week or make your year. All right then, I guess we'll see how this works out. That's the thing about 20 years in the Navy, you learn when to fight and when to let the brass make their mistakes. Sometimes the best way to teach someone is to let them fail, especially when they're too arrogant to listen to advice from someone who's actually done the job. I walked toward the door, then stopped and turned back to Madison. One piece of advice, since you're taking over my life's work here. When the system crashes, and it will crash, don't panic. Don't try to fix it by running the calculations multiple times. Each time you reprocess, you create duplicate entries in the database. Fix the underlying problem first. then do a clean rerun. And remember that 12,000 families are counting on those paychecks to pay rent, buy groceries, and keep the lights on. That might help you prioritize when things go wrong. The look on her face told me she still didn't get it. She thought this was just numbers on a computer screen, like some business school case study where you can restart if you make a mistake. She had no idea she was about to be responsible for people's lives, people's ability to feed their children and keep roofs over their heads. The next 3 days were like watching a slow-motion disaster unfold. I spent Wednesday and Thursday doing exactly what they asked, documenting everything I could think of, creating user guides, writing step-by-step procedures. But here's the thing about complex systems that have evolved organically over 8 years. You can't document institutional knowledge. You can't write down the gut feeling you get when a number looks wrong by just enough to matter. You can't explain in a manual why you always double-check the Arkansas entries, because their state database has been corrupted since 2019 and returns wrong county codes about 3% of the time. Madison shadowed me those 2 days, taking notes on her iPad and asking questions that showed she was completely out of her depth. Why do you manually verify the Louisiana wage classifications? She asked Wednesday morning as I ran through the pre-payroll verification procedures. Because the state database has been corrupted since Hurricane Ida hit their servers, I explained patiently. It shows the right wage rates, but about 3% of the job classifications return wrong parish codes. If you don't catch it, guys, working in New Orleans get paid Shreveport rates, which is about $4 an hour difference. Can't we just contact the state and have them fix their database? It's a state government system. They know about the problem. They've known about it for 2 years. But fixing it isn't a priority because most companies just accept the wrong data and eat the cost rather than fight the bureaucracy. She made a note on her iPad, and I could see her typing something like contact state about database fix, like that was something she could accomplish with a phone call and some MBA charm. Thursday afternoon, Madison felt confident enough to start importing real data into her Excel model. I watched her upload the raw time files from our 47 different job sites across 4 states, offshore platforms, refineries, pipeline projects, marine construction. The spreadsheet immediately started slowing down, the spinning wheel appearing as Excel tried to process 12,000 employee records through her elaborate system of nested formulas and lookup tables. It's just loading the data, she said, clicking the refresh button repeatedly while Excel churned through the calculations like a lawnmower trying to cut through concrete. But I could see exactly what was happening. Her lookup formulas were hitting circular references because she didn't understand how prevailing wage calculations cascade through the system. When you have federal, state, and local wage requirements that can all apply to the same job, you can't just use simple VLOOKUP functions. You need conditional logic that checks multiple criteria in a specific sequence, and if you get the order wrong, the whole thing collapses. Madison, I said carefully, you might want to test that on a smaller data set first. Maybe start with 1 job site instead of all 47. It'll be fine, she replied, but I could hear the uncertainty creeping into her voice as Excel's memory usage spiked, and the program started freezing every few seconds. It's just a processing issue. Modern computers can handle this kind of workload. Modern computers can handle the workload, sure. But Excel wasn't designed to be a mission-critical payroll system for a multi-state construction operation. It's like using a screwdriver as a hammer. It might work for a while, but when you really need it to perform, it's going to let you down hard. Friday morning came, and it was time for the official handoff. Madison showed up at 6 a.m. with her laptop, 2 energy drinks, and the kind of nervous energy you see in rookie sailors before their first real storm. I gathered my personal items from 8 years of making this place work, coffee mug from the USS Enterprise reunion, photo of my restored '67 Mustang, and a bottle of Maker's Mark bourbon I kept in my desk drawer for emergencies. Seemed appropriate to take it with me. Something told me they'd need it more than I would. Remember, the bank cutoff for direct deposits is noon sharp, I reminded her as she set up at my workstation. After that deadline, people don't get paid until Monday, and that's when you'll have 12,000 very unhappy construction workers and their families calling corporate. Got it, Madison said, already focused on her screen where Excel was grinding through the payroll data like a blender trying to process concrete mix. The spreadsheet was showing loading errors in about half the cells, but she kept clicking refresh like that would magically fix the underlying problems. I started toward the door, then stopped one more time. Madison, last piece of advice. When this goes wrong, and it will go wrong, don't try to fix it by running the calculations again and again. Each time you reprocess, you create duplicate entries in the system that'll take days to untangle. Fix the actual problem first, then do a clean rerun from scratch. She wasn't really listening anymore. She was staring at her screen where the spreadsheet was showing error in most of the wage calculation fields, frantically clicking between different tabs like she could somehow will the formulas to work correctly. I walked out to the parking lot, climbed into my pickup truck, rolled the windows down, and drove home listening to classic country on the radio. I should have been angry or worried about finding another job at 54, but mostly I felt like watching a disaster movie where you know exactly how it's going to end, but the characters haven't figured it out yet. My phone started buzzing around 10:30 a.m. Text message from Carlos Mendez, one of the payroll clerks who'd worked with me for 3 years. Bud, something's seriously wrong with Madison's spreadsheet. It says I worked negative hours last week and owes the company money. Then another text from Danny Walsh in the Houston office. Man, according to this payroll report, I make $847 an hour as a concrete finisher. I wish that was true, but my truck payment says otherwise by 11 a.m. My phone was lighting up like a control panel during a reactor emergency. Guys from all over our territory were seeing their pay stubs in the employee portal and nothing made any sense. Employee ID numbers were getting mixed up with social security numbers. Job classifications were completely scrambled, crane operators showing up as office clerks, welders listed as executives, concrete finishers somehow classified as marine biologists. The funniest one came from Tony Tank Russo, our union foreman. Bud, my pay stub says I worked 2,847 hours last week and my gross pay is $74,000. Either I discovered time travel or somebody screwed up bad. I could picture exactly what had happened during Madison's data import. She'd mixed up the column headers when she transferred information from our SQL database into her Excel model. Employee ID numbers were being used as hours worked. Hours worked were being treated as wage rates, and social security numbers were somehow getting multiplied as overtime multipliers. Excel was trying to calculate wages using completely wrong data, but the real disaster was still coming. The weird numbers in the employee portal were just the opening act. The main event would happen at noon when the bank tried to process Madison's payroll file for electronic deposits. At 11:45 a.m., my phone rang. Joyce from HR, and her voice was tight with panic. Bud, she said, barely keeping it together, we need to talk. Madison's payroll file is showing some serious irregularities. According to her calculations, we owe the federal government $2.3 million in tax withholdings this week, but we only collected $18,000 from employee paychecks. I pulled into my driveway and sat in the truck, listening to Joyce explain how Madison's Excel model had managed to create what was essentially a financial black hole. The spreadsheet had somehow calculated that we needed to withhold more in taxes than our entire weekly payroll, while simultaneously trying to direct deposit negative amounts to about 3,000 employees. Also, Joyce continued, the bank is questioning why we're attempting to transfer $47,000 to one concrete mixer operator in Beaumont, while simultaneously deducting $23,000 from a crane operator's account for something called equipment rental recovery fees that don't exist in any of our contracts. Has anyone told Preston about this yet? He's been in meetings with the acquisition team all morning. Madison keeps saying she can fix it, but every time she tries to correct one error, 3 more pop up. Famous last words. I'd heard them before from every overconfident rookie who thought they could patch a sinking ship with duct tape and determination. By 2 p.m., Gulf Coast Construction wasn't a construction company anymore. It was a full-blown disaster zone. The bank had rejected Madison's payroll file so hard it probably left scorch marks on their servers. According to their automated response, we were attempting to transfer invalid amounts to invalid accounts using invalid data formats that violated about 12 different federal banking regulations. The employee portal had crashed completely under the weight of 12,000 workers trying to figure out why their pay stubs looked like they'd been calculated by a drunk mathematician having a nervous breakdown. Some guys were showing overtime rates of $847 an hour. Others had negative salaries and somehow owed the company money for the privilege of working there. But the real fireworks started when Tony Russo got involved. Tony's been representing construction workers for 20 years, built like a linebacker, talks like a drill sergeant, and has exactly 0 patience for corporate nonsense. When his guys don't get paid correctly, Tony doesn't send politely worded emails or schedule meetings to discuss the situation. He brings out the big guns. By 3 p.m., Tony was standing on the back of his pickup truck outside our main office with a megaphone that could probably be heard in the next county. Gulf Coast Construction thinks they can play games with working people's paychecks. His voice boomed across the parking lot. If they can't figure out how to pay us correctly, maybe we need to stop working for them until they get their act together. The wildcat strike spread faster than gossip at a high school reunion. Houston sites shut down first, then Beaumont, then the offshore platforms in the Gulf of Mexico. By 4 p.m., every single Gulf Coast construction job site in 4 states had gone completely quiet. 12,000 workers sitting in their trucks, posting videos on social media, calling local news stations, and explaining to reporters how a major construction company couldn't figure out basic mathematics. Tuesday morning, I was sitting on my porch drinking coffee and reading news articles about our payroll crisis when my phone rang. Preston Caldwell, and his voice sounded like he'd been gargling broken glass for a week. "Bud," he said, "we need to talk immediately." "Morning, Preston. Saw you on Channel 6 last night. Interesting interview. I especially liked the part where you blamed the problems on unforeseen technical complications during a routine system upgrade. Cut the jokes. The State Labor Board is opening investigations in all 4 states. The union is talking about a class action lawsuit. The bank has frozen our operating accounts because Madison's payroll file made their fraud detection system think we'd been hacked by foreign criminals. Sounds like quite a situation you've got there. I need you to come back. Consulting basis, emergency contract. Name your price." I'd been waiting for this call since Friday afternoon, drinking bourbon on my porch and watching the news coverage of their disaster. $15,000 cash up front, plus a new permanent contract at double my old salary. Done. Hold on, I'm not finished yet. I want a public apology posted on the company website, signed by you personally, admitting that the payroll problems were caused by premature implementation of an inadequate system against the advice of experienced technical staff. Long silence on the other end. Then, fine, whatever you need. And one more thing, I report directly to the CTO from now on, not to operations. I'm done taking orders from people who think Excel is enterprise software and nepotism is a hiring strategy. Just fix this mess, bud. Please. Wednesday morning, I drove back to the office in my pickup truck, windows down, feeling like a general returning to retake territory that never should have been abandoned. The parking lot still had union guys camped out in lawn chairs, but they waved and cheered when they saw my truck. Tony Russo walked over as I was climbing out. "Bud, please tell me you're here to save our asses and get our people paid working on it, Tony. You should see some real progress by Thursday morning. What about back pay for all the time we've been sitting here instead of working? Every penny you've got coming, plus overtime rates for the guys who are scheduled to work during the strike days." I walked into the building like I owned the place, because for the next few weeks I basically did. The server room felt like coming home after a long deployment overseas. I fired up my workstation, cracked my knuckles, and started digging through the digital wreckage that Madison had created. It was worse than I'd expected. She hadn't just corrupted the current payroll data. She'd managed to lock critical database tables, create circular references in the tax calculation modules, and somehow convince the entire system that we employed 847,000 people. Most of them apparently named XOR or Div. It took me 18 straight hours of work, surviving on black coffee and determination. But I rebuilt everything from the ground up using archived transaction logs and backup systems that Madison didn't even know existed. Real backups, stored on redundant servers with proper validation protocols. By Thursday morning at 6 a.m., I had a clean, accurate payroll file ready for electronic transmission. I sent the file to the bank and watched the confirmation come back green across the board. 12,000 construction workers across 4 states would wake up Thursday morning to find their correct paychecks waiting in their accounts, plus compensation for every day they'd lost sitting in parking lots because corporate had screwed up. Friday morning, I walked into Preston's corner office. He looked like he'd aged about 10 years in 1 week, which probably wasn't far from the truth. "It's finished," I told him. "Everyone's been paid correctly, including full compensation for the strike days. The union's called off the protest. The job sites are back to normal operations, and the bank has unfrozen our accounts. Thank you," he said quietly. "I owe you an apology. We should never have. Where's Madison? Reassigned to marketing research. Turns out family connections only carry you so far when you cost the company several $1,000,000 and nearly trigger federal investigations. And my new office?" Preston stood up and gestured toward the corner office with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the entire equipment yard. "All yours." Had them install a new coffee machine and everything. I walked over to my new desk, sat down in the leather chair, and looked out at the construction sites coming back to life. Cranes moving again, trucks rolling out with full crews, offshore platforms resuming operations. My phone buzzed with a text from Vince Torres, our security chief. "Heard Madison's working in marketing research now. Thinks she can handle calculating click-through rates on web ads." I opened my desk drawer and pulled out that bottle of Maker's Mark I'd been saving for a special occasion. This definitely qualified. You know what? If you're over 50 and you've spent decades building expertise that actually matters, don't let some young hotshot with an MBA and a family connection convince you that your knowledge is outdated. Your experience isn't obsolete, it's irreplaceable. When the trendy new solutions fail, and they will fail, the companies always come crawling back to the people who actually know how to keep things running. Stand your ground. Do your job right, and let the results speak for themselves. Because at the end of the day, competence always wins over connections, and real expertise will always trump theoretical knowledge. Trust me on this one.